Ladies and gentlemen, emotional peace is one of the greatest treasures you can possess in this life. Yet it is also one of the most challenged. Every day we encounter people, situations, and unexpected moments that try to pull us into frustration, anger, and inner turmoil. You may wake up with a calm heart and a clear mind, only to have a single conversation disrupt your entire day. A careless word, a disrespectful attitude, or an unfair situation can stir emotions so quickly that you hardly recognize yourself. Yet true strength is not found in reacting to every disturbance. It is found in mastering your inner world so that no one else controls your peace. Many people live as if their emotional state is determined by others. If someone is kind, they feel calm. If someone is rude, they feel angry. If someone ignores them, they feel hurt. This way of living places your peace in the hands of people who may not even be thinking about you. Emotional freedom begins the moment you realize that no person has the authority to control your inner state unless you give it to them. When you understand this, you begin to see that anger is often not caused by others, but by your response to them. Two people can face the same situation, and one remains calm while the other becomes furious. The difference is not the situation. The difference is the perspective. Anger often begins with expectations. You expect people to treat you fairly, to speak kindly, and to behave responsibly. When those expectations are not met, frustration rises. But if your peace depends on everyone meeting your expectations, then your peace will always be fragile. The truth is that people are imperfect. They will misunderstand you, disappoint you, and sometimes even hurt you. Accepting this reality does not mean approving of wrong behavior. It means refusing to let that behavior take control of your heart. Emotional peace grows when you stop demanding perfection from imperfect people. One of the most powerful ways to remain unbothered is to pause before reacting. Many conflicts escalate not because of the situation itself, but because of immediate reactions. Words spoken in anger cannot be taken back easily, and actions done in frustration often leave lasting consequences. When you pause, even for a moment, you create space between the event and your response. In that space, wisdom has a chance to speak. Instead of reacting automatically, you begin to respond intentionally. A calm response often diffuses tension, while a harsh reaction fuels it. Another key to emotional peace is understanding that not everything deserves your attention. Some people thrive on conflict and negativity. They look for reactions because reactions give them a sense of control or importance. When you refuse to engage in unnecessary arguments, you deny negativity the energy it needs to grow. Silence is often stronger than retaliation. Walking away is often wiser than proving a point. Protecting your peace sometimes means choosing not to participate in battles that do not truly matter. Boundaries are essential for maintaining emotional stability. Without boundaries, you allow others unlimited access to your time, your energy, and your emotions. This often leads to exhaustion and resentment. Boundaries are not walls meant to keep people out. They are guidelines that protect what is valuable within you. When you set healthy boundaries, you teach others how to treat you. You show them what is acceptable and what is not. Some people may resist your boundaries at first, especially if they are used to having unrestricted access to your life. But over time, consistent boundaries create respect and stability. Emotional peace also requires letting go of the need to win every argument. The desire to be right can trap you in endless conflicts. Sometimes you may be completely correct, yet proving your point only creates more tension. Peace often comes when you realize that being right is not always as important as being calm. There is a quiet strength in choosing peace over victory. This does not mean surrendering your values. It means refusing to sacrifice your inner stability just to prove a point. Forgiveness plays a vital role in remaining unbothered. Holding on to anger is like carrying a heavy weight that grows heavier with time. The person who hurt you may move on without a second thought, while you continue to relive the pain. Forgiveness does not excuse wrong behavior, and it does not mean forgetting what happened. It means releasing the emotional burden so that it no longer controls you. When you forgive, you free yourself more than anyone else. It is also important to recognize that some battles are internal. Sometimes the anger you feel toward others is connected to stress, fatigue, or unresolved pain within yourself. When your mind is overwhelmed, even small irritations can feel unbearable. Taking care of your emotional well-being strengthens your ability to remain calm in difficult situations. Rest, reflection, and quiet moments help restore balance. A peaceful mind is less likely to be shaken by minor disturbances. Your thoughts have tremendous power over your emotions. If you constantly replay negative experiences in your mind, your anger will continue to grow. But if you choose to focus on what is good and meaningful, your perspective begins to shift. This does not mean ignoring problems. It means refusing to let problems dominate your thinking. A disciplined mind is one of the greatest defenses against emotional turmoil. There will always be people who misunderstand you. There will always be situations that seem unfair. There will always be moments when frustration tries to take hold. But each of these moments is also an opportunity to practice emotional strength. Every time you choose patience over anger, you grow stronger. Every time you choose understanding over offense, you grow wiser. Every time you choose peace over reaction, you grow freer. Emotional maturity is not developed in a single day. It is built through consistent choices over time. At first, staying calm may feel difficult. You may feel the urge to react quickly or defend yourself strongly, but with practice, calmness becomes more natural. The things that once bothered you begin to lose their power. Situations that once caused anger begin to feel manageable. When you truly understand the value of peace, you begin to guard it carefully. You become selective about what you allow into your mind and heart. You stop giving small problems the power to create big emotions. You begin to realize that your peace is too valuable to be traded for temporary reactions. A peaceful person is not someone who never faces trouble. A peaceful person is someone who has learned how to remain steady in the midst of trouble. This kind of stability influences every area of life. Relationships become healthier, decisions become wiser, and daily living becomes more fulfilling. No matter what others say or do, you will. Ways have a choice about how you respond. That choice is where your power lies. When you choose calmness, you take control of your emotions. When you choose patience, you strengthen your character. When you choose peace, you protect one of the greatest gifts you have been given. Emotional peace begins with a simple but powerful realization. Your inner calm does not come from other people. It comes from within you. Many people live their lives as if their emotions are controlled by the actions and words of others. When someone speaks kindly, they feel happy. When someone ignores them, they feel hurt or angry. Living this way means that your emotional state is constantly shifting, always dependent on circumstances you cannot control. But there is a better way to live, a way that allows you to remain steady even when the world around you feels uncertain or difficult. The truth is that people are unpredictable. They have their own struggles, their own pressures, and their own flaws. Sometimes they act out of stress. Sometimes they speak without thinking. Sometimes they fail to consider how their words or actions might affect someone else. If your peace depends on everyone behaving perfectly, then peace will always be out of reach. But when you understand that your response is more powerful than their behavior, you begin to reclaim control over your life. Consider how often anger begins with expectation. You expect people to be fair. You expect them to understand you. You expect them to treat you with kindness and respect. These expectations are natural, but when they are not met, frustration grows quickly. The problem is not always the expectation itself. The problem is allowing disappointment to turn into emotional turmoil. When you accept that people will sometimes fall short, you remove the element of surprise. Instead, being shocked or offended every time someone makes a mistake, you learn to respond with patience and understanding. There is a quiet strength in refusing to let other people determine your emotional state. This strength does not come from ignoring reality or pretending that hurtful things never happen. It comes from choosing how much influence those things will have over you. You may not be able to control what others say, but you can control how deeply their words affect your heart. You may not be able to control what others do, but you can control how long you dwell on their actions. One of the greatest shifts that can happen in your life is moving from a reaction mindset to a response mindset. A reaction is quick and emotional. It happens automatically, often without thought. A response is thoughtful and intentional. It comes from a place of calm rather than impulse. When someone speaks harshly, the natural reaction may be to respond with equal harshness. But when you choose to respond instead of react, you pause long enough to decide what truly matters. In that moment, you remember that your peace is more valuable than winning an argument or proving a point. Many people unknowingly give away their emotional power. They allow a single negative comment to dominate their thoughts for hours or even days. They replay conversations in their minds, thinking about what they should have said or how they should have responded. This mental replay keeps the frustration alive long after the moment has passed. But when you learn to let go, you break this cycle. Letting go does not mean pretending something did not happen. It means deciding that the moment is not worth your continued energy. Inner peace grows stronger when you stop taking everything personally. Not every harsh word is a personal attack. Not every negative action is directed at you. Sometimes people act out of their own pain, their own insecurity, or their own frustration. When you understand this, you begin to see that their behavior often says more about them than it does about you. This understanding creates distance between you and the negativity, making it easy to remain calm. It is also important to recognize that emotional peace is not the absence of difficulty. Challenges will come, and difficult people will cross your path. Peace is not found in avoiding these realities, but in facing them with stability. A calm heart does not mean a trouble-free life. It means a steady life. When your peace comes from within, it becomes less vulnerable to the changing circumstances around you. There will be moments when staying calm feels difficult. Your emotions may rise quickly, and your first instinct may be to react. In those moments, it helps to remember that peace is a choice made one decision at a time. Each time you choose patience instead of anger, you strengthen your ability to remain calm in the future. Each time you refuse to let negativity control you, you build resilience. Over time, this way of living begins to change you. The things that once irritated you so easily begin to lose their intensity. Situations that once caused anger begin to feel manageable. You start to notice that you recover more quickly from frustration. Instead of carrying anger with you throughout the day, you learn to release it and move forward. When your peace comes from within, it becomes steady and reliable. It is no longer dependent on perfect circumstances or perfect people. It becomes a constant presence guiding your thoughts and actions. This kind of peace allows you to remain grounded even when others are upset. It allows you to think clearly when others are reacting emotionally. It allows you to move through life with a sense of stability that cannot easily be shaken. Inner stability changes the way you see the world. Instead of viewing every inconvenience as a problem, you begin to see challenges as opportunities to grow stronger. Instead of seeing difficult people as obstacles, you begin to see them as reminders to remain patient. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by negativity, you begin to recognize your ability to rise above it. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. Calmness becomes your default instead of your exception. Patience becomes your strength instead of your struggle. And peace becomes not just something you experience occasionally, but something you carry with you wherever you go. Emotional peace cannot exist for long without boundaries. Many people desire a calm and steady life, yet they allow others unlimited access to their time, their thoughts, and their emotions. When there are no boundaries, it becomes easy for other people's opinions, demands, and behaviors to take control of your inner world. You may find yourself constantly reacting, constantly explaining, and constantly feeling drained. Over time, this leads to frustration, not because you are weak, but because you are carrying emotional weight that was never meant for you to carry. Boundaries are not barriers meant to shut people out. They are protections that preserve what is valuable within you. Just as a home has walls and doors to protect what is inside, your emotional life requires limits that determine what you allow and what you do not allow. Without these limits, people may step into areas of your life where they do not belong, offering opinions that discourage you, making demands that exhaust you, or creating conflicts that disturb your peace. Boundaries define where your responsibility ends and another person's responsibility begins. Many people struggle with boundaries because they fear disappointing others. They worry that, say, ing, no will make them seem unkind or uncooperative. They may agree to things they do not have the energy for simply to avoid conflict. But constantly saying yes when you mean no creates an inner tension that grows over time. You may appear calm on the outside, while resentment builds quietly on the inside. True peace cannot grow in an environment where your own needs are consistently ignored. Learning to set boundaries requires honesty with yourself. You must recognize your limits and respect them. You cannot give endless time and energy without eventually becoming exhausted. When you understand this, you begin to see that boundaries are not selfish. They are necessary. They allow you to function at your best and to give your best to the people and responsibilities that truly matter. One of the most important boundaries you can establish is deciding what deserves your emotional energy. Not every comment requires a response. Not every disagreement needs to become an argument. Some people speak carelessly, and if you respond to every careless word, you will spend your life in unnecessary conflict. Choosing not to engage is often the strongest response you can make. Silence can be a form of strength when it protects your peace. There are times when stepping away is wiser than standing your ground. Walking away from a heated conversation does not mean you are weak. It means you are wise enough to recognize when emotions are too high for productive discussion. In those moments, distance creates clarity. It allows you to regain your calm and approach the situation with a clearer mind. Many conflicts continue simply because neither person is willing to step back and allow emotions to settle. Boundaries also protect you from people who consistently bring negativity into your life. Some individuals thrive on drama and conflict. They may complain constantly, criticize frequently, or stir up tension wherever they go. Spending too much time around such negativity can drain your emotional strength. While you may not always be able to avoid these individuals completely, you can limit how much influence they have over you. You can choose how long you engage, how deeply you listen, and how much of their negativity you allow into your thoughts. Setting boundaries often requires clear communication. People cannot respect limits that are never expressed. This does not require harshness or confrontation. It simply requires clarity about what you can and cannot do, creates understanding. Some people may resist at first, especially if they are used to having unrestricted access to your time and energy. But consistency strengthens boundaries. When your actions match your words, people begin to understand that your limits are real. There is also an internal aspect to boundaries that is just as important as the external one. You must set limits within your own mind. This means refusing to dwell on negative experiences longer than necessary. It means choosing not to replay hurtful conversations repeatedly. It means deciding that certain thoughts will not be allowed to dominate your thinking. Without these internal boundaries, even small problems can grow into large emotional burdens. Guilt often appears when people begin setting boundaries, especially if they are not used to doing so. You may feel as though you are letting others down or failing to meet expectations. But it is important to remember that you are not responsible for meeting every expectation placed upon you. Some expectations are unrealistic, and trying to meet them only leads to exhaustion. Peace grows when you accept that it is okay to prioritize what truly matters. Healthy boundaries create healthier relationships. When people know your limits, interactions become clearer and more respectful. Instead of hidden frustration and unspoken resentment, there is honesty and understanding. Boundaries remove confusion and replace it with stability. They allow you to give freely rather than reluctantly because you are no longer giving beyond your capacity. Over time, boundaries strengthen your sense of self. You become more aware of your values and more confident in your decisions. Instead of being pulled in every direction by other people's demands, you move forward with purpose and clarity. This sense of direction brings a quiet confidence that supports emotional stability. Peaceful living requires recognizing that your energy is limited and valuable. Each day gives you only so much time and strength. When that energy is spent on unnecessary conflict and endless demands, little remains for what truly matters. Boundaries ensure that your energy is used wisely rather than wasted carelessly. As boundaries become a natural part of your life, you begin to notice a difference in how you feel. There is less tension and less frustration. You no longer feel the need to respond to everything or please everyone. Instead, there is a growing sense of calm and control. You begin to realize that protecting your peace is not only possible but necessary for a balanced and steady life. Learning to choose calm responses over emotional reactions is one of the greatest skills a person can develop. Many people live in a constant cycle of reaction, responding instantly to whatever happens around them. A harsh word leads to a harsh reply. A moment of frustration leads to an outburst of anger. An unexpected inconvenience leads to visible irritation. These reactions often feel natural in the moment, yet they leave behind consequences that linger long after the situation has passed. A single emotional E-action can damage relationships, create regret, and disturb inner peace for hours or even days. But when you learn to respond calmly instead of reacting impulsively, you begin to experience a steady sense of control that changes the way you live each day. Emotional reactions are often quick and automatic. They rise before you have time to think, driven by instinct rather than wisdom. This is why people sometimes say things they later regret or act in ways that do not reflect who they truly want to be. The problem is not that emotions exist. Emotions are a natural part of being human. The challenge is allowing emotions to take control without guidance or restraint. When emotions lead without wisdom, they often lead toward conflict rather than resolution. A calm response begins with a pause. That pause may last only a few seconds, but it creates space between what happens and how you respond to it. In that space, you gain the opportunity to think clearly instead of reacting automatically. You begin to consider what truly matters. You may ask yourself whether the situation is worth the energy of an argument or whether the words you are about to speak will make things better or worse. This moment of reflection often prevents small problems from becoming large ones. Patience plays a central role in calm responses. Patience is not simply waiting, it is maintaining a steady attitude while you wait. When patience is present, emotions do not rise as quickly, and frustration does not take hold as easily. A patient person understands that not every situation requires an immediate answer. Sometimes the best response is to wait until emotions settle and clarity returns. Words spoken in patience often carry more wisdom than words spoken in haste. Choosing calmness does not mean ignoring problems or pretending that everything is fine. It means addressing situations with a steady mind rather than a troubled one. When you respond calmly, you are better able to express yourself clearly. Instead of speaking in anger, you speak with purpose. Instead of reacting defensively, you communicate thoughtfully. This kind of response often leads to understanding instead of conflict. It is important to recognize that calmness is a form of strength. Some people believe that raising their voice or reacting strongly shows power, but true strength is often quiet and controlled. Anyone can react in anger. That requires little effort or discipline. But remaining calm when emotions are high requires self-control and maturity. This quiet strength influences others in ways that loud reactions cannot. Calmness often diffuses tension, creating an environment where problems can be solved rather than intensified. Forgiveness is closely connected to calm responses. When you hold on to past hurts, your reactions in the present become stronger. Small irritations feel larger because they connect to unresolved pain. But when you forgive and release the past, you remove much of the emotional weight that fuels overreactions. Forgiveness allows you to approach each situation on its own terms rather than through the lens of previous disappointments. Understanding also helps transform reactions into responses. When you take time to consider what someone else might be experiencing, it becomes easier to remain calm. A person who seems rude may be under great stress. A person who seems distant may be facing personal struggles. This does not excuse hurtful behavior, but it creates perspective. With perspective comes patience, and with patience comes peace. Your thoughts play a powerful role in shaping your responses. If your mind is filled with negative assumptions, your reactions will likely reflect those assumptions. You may interpret neutral situations as personal attacks or small issues as major problems. But when your thoughts are balanced and steady, your responses become balanced and steady as well. Training your mind to focus on what is reasonable and true reduces the intensity of emotional reactions. Practice is essential in developing calm responses. No one becomes calm in every situation overnight. There will be moments when emotions rise quickly and reactions happen before you have time to think. But each experience becomes an opportunity to grow. When you reflect on those moments, you begin to understand what triggered the reaction and how you might respond differently next time. Over time, these lessons accumulate, strengthening your ability to remain steady. As calm responses become more natural, you begin to notice changes in your daily life. Situations that once caused frustration no longer feel overwhelming. Conversations that once turned into arguments remain peaceful. Challenges that once seemed unbearable become manageable. This transformation does not happen because life becomes easier, but because you become stronger. Calmness also brings clarity. When emotions are under control, your mind is free to think clearly and make wise decisions. Instead of being driven by impulse, you are guided by understanding. This clarity improves relationships, strengthens judgment, and creates a sense of confidence that extends into every area of life. People around you will begin to notice the difference as well. Your steadiness may influence them to remain calmer in difficult situations. Your patience may encourage them to respond more thoughtfully. Calmness often spreads quietly, shaping the environment without drawing attention to itself. There is a deep sense of freedom in knowing that your emotions are no longer controlled by every circumstance. Instead of being pulled in different directions by every challenge, you remain grow. Undead. Instead of reacting automatically, you respond intentionally. This freedom allows you to move through life with a steady heart and a clear mind, prepared to face whatever comes with confidence and peace. Emotional peace is not something that happens by accident. It is something you build through daily choices. Each moment of irritation gives you an opportunity to choose calmness. Each difficult person gives you an opportunity to strengthen your patience. Each conflict gives you an opportunity to practice self-control. Over time, these small choices shape a life that is no longer controlled by the actions and opinions of others. Instead of being tossed back and forth by circumstances, you become steady, grounded, and secure within yourself. When you understand that true peace comes from within, you stop looking to others to provide what only you can protect. When you establish clear boundaries, you preserve your emotional energy for the things that truly matter. When you choose calm responses over quick reactions, you prevent unnecessary conflicts and protect the stability of your heart and mind. These principles work together, creating a foundation that allows you to remain unshaken even in challenging situations. There will always be people who test your patience. in situations that challenge your calmness, but those moments no longer have to control you. Instead, they become reminders of the strength you are developing. Every time you remain calm when you could have reacted, you prove to yourself that your peace is stronger than the disturbance. Every time you walk away from unnecessary conflict, you protect the quiet strength within you. Every time you refuse to carry anger in your heart, you make room for a deeper and more lasting peace. A life of emotional stability does not mean a life without difficulty. It means a life where difficulty no longer has the power to disturb your soul. It means living with a sense of quiet confidence, knowing that no matter what happens around you, there is a place of calm within you that cannot easily be shaken. And when you learn to live from that place of calm, you discover a freedom that no one can take from you, because true peace begins within and remains with those who choose to guard it.